Swan real quick. Swan,
who would crush Tupac lyrically right now? Like outside of like maybe 3 or 4 people who have mainstream record play, like forget about it. He'd be having a field day.
Swan, what do you have to say about this?
Well, T-Pain is definitely wrong. He's definitely wrong. You see, but Tupac, I don't think he is the greatest lyricist. He's not. But the way he puts his emotions and energy towards his craft is like genius. Like Snoop Dogg even said it in like one of his interviews that Tupac was one of the fastest writers that he ever seen. He'll do like what, maybe 3 songs in a day. That's just genius level in my opinion. And like when T-Pain will say like an artist from this era like will destroy Tupac on the main street sound, I'm thinking like who, like what Ty Hill when he said like who will beat him, like there's not too many, you know what I'm saying? But like Pac, I mean it's just, you know, his level as far as like as an MC, I feel like is really overlooked. And like his first hip hop name was MC New York, and people didn't really know about that. They never knew that.
Yeah.
And yeah, and like I'm gonna say this too, the Machiavelli album is really overlooked. I feel like that's probably his best work besides Me Against the World.
Islam, what are your
Are You Still Down is very good too.
Yeah, that is a very good.
When it comes to Tupac, I can admit I'm in the beginning of my appreciation for music and hip hop. I didn't like Tupac. I didn't like none of his music. I was totally anti-Pac. I thought Big was okay, to be honest with you. It wasn't until later on in my life did I think to appreciate Big, and it took me, I'm be honest with you, becoming a man to like Tupac. That's just my opinion. Call it a nigga who grew up in the suburbs and only visited, East Side to go see my father. Call it, that's what I was exposed to and surrounded by due to my community. But it's just, I guess, I was one of those hard-headed, strictly underground backpacker niggas when I first came to music. It was like, if you weren't coming at a certain level of, and I'm not saying it didn't, it's just that where my mind was at. It wasn't a certain level of words and schemes and patterns coming across, and if the beats weren't boom back, I wasn't with it. It wasn't until I matured as a person and when I was able to appreciate other sounds and content and come out of that box where, yeah, Tupac is definitely up there. He definitely, I consider him to be more than an MC, more than a rapper. He's a griot. He's a martyr that was able to bring about change politically and socially that a lot of MCs and artists are scared to do. I mean, he was willing to go hand and toe to toe. So as a man, and then going back and listening to his lyrics and what he was doing, I can see that he was just painting a picture. He was telling a story. He was doing those deeds as well, but it was more or less him trying to let them know, like, what's going on ain't my fault. Here it is in bar form. I'm letting you know that the dumb shit and the ill wills of this planet through my lyrics. And I greatly appreciate for that. Tupac should not even speak upon that man ever through his mouth in any kind of conversation. That nigga's puss, he's whack. I don't think he has the talent to even speak on the skills that Tupac has. So for him to try to even think that some new guy on the scene is gonna last a moment in the presence of Tupac, let alone on the mic, is blasphemy.
So I think we can just end this show right now and just all conclude that T-Pain's a dumbass. A disrespectful dumbass.
When he played Meatwad on the live action version of Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
T-Pain actually can sing though. I heard him sing for real. He can sing. I don't know why he even did the auto-tune thing.
Man, T-Pain, he did the auto-tune because I agree with he said T-Pain puss, because this the same nigga that allowed Usher to make him cry on a plane. Wow. So he's a different breed of human. He's a different breed of human. You know, and yeah, because Usher said that he destroyed. Oh yeah, he said that
he was all
he said Usher came to him and told him that he destroyed music or something like that with the
I remember he said
wow.
Yeah, that hurt his feelings. His feelings was hurt by Usher. Let It Burn hurt his feelings. So
yeah, Ursha Savage.
you know, it's weird. I hate the disrespect pockets. I fucking hate it. Like they literally be. Everybody has something to say. Now I get it from the younger generation that just don't know who the fuck he is. That's cool. You ain't got to go back and listen to him. They get a pass for it.
They should.
But for the people that know who the fuck he is, you can't say no. How the fuck is it? The best example of this show was literally this man survived the best era of hip hop
and dominated it in many categories. Dominated it.
So what the fuck couldn't he do today? Like, how does that? It don't even make sense. That's like saying you. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. He survived with some of the greatest lyricists to ever exist.
Ever niggas to ever put pen to pad.
And he made it out. We talking about a person who came from the late 80s where the greatest of the lyricists exist. And he still got a chance to come up, make a name in. Come on now, man.
T-Pain saying about how 20 years would have affected
the one question that's the elephant in the room. Is Tupac still alive?
No, if you've seen season 3 of Atlanta, that may have been answered.
He just died a couple days.
I don't think he's alive. I'm gonna tell you why, right? Pac is a attention whore.
Yeah.
Pac can't shut the fuck up. Pac would have showed up some fucking where trying to hide and disguise himself.
Yeah. I don't even want to get into the rabbit hole of that. That's Slankster's category. But I think what happens with art, it often appreciates over time, but humans also evolve over time. And what T-Pain said about the 20-year gap is completely illogical, because not only would he have became more skilled over time artistically as a human being based off the things he was talking about and the things he started to rebel against, he would have evolved so much as a human being over time. At some point in the last 20 years, he probably would have stopped rapping and probably started an organization.
He probably been a greater actor. Tupac wasn't even a man when he died. He was 24, 25 years old. He hadn't even developed into a man.
Right, like the songs written over time would have evolved so much.
One second. Tizon, what you want to say?
I said when it comes to Tupac, just piggybacking off of Slangston, Lyrical Leviathan, that given the content of what has happened over the past 20 years, imagine Pac having all that at his tips to write about, to express. Imagine how different hip hop would be. Imagine all the revolutionary shit he would have popped off. He'd have been in the streets and in the booth all the time. Like
he would have made.
We talking about a country. We talking about a place in hip hop that is allowing Meek Mill to be the face of police prison reform. Can you imagine what Pac would have did out here?
Oh man, if he wasn't dead already, they'd have had to kill him.
He would have made To Pimp a Butterfly first. He would have made that album
and better.
Yeah, that was a Tupac influence, right?
Right.
Pac the whole record. And snippets all throughout the album. Like he would have just made the album himself.
Imagine if Pac never died, the impact he would have had on the young writers coming up and the direction that hip hop might have went in from a skill standpoint had Pac lived, or people taking content more serious.
Pac would have still had a lane. It's impossible to stop that lane, but just the growth that he would have had, like the Pimp to a Butterfly, was a great example. You know, we didn't get the 444 from Pac. Like we didn't get a grown Pac. We got a fucking child. You realize we grown ass men talking about a kid?
23 years old. 23 years old.
Listen,
when like most of his best stuff was coming out. I think
imagine what he would have did as an actor and his impact in film. Because as an actor, he was great too.
That too.
You know what? He probably would have been Black Panther as well if he was alive. Think about it.
Or Killmonger.
Where'd that come from?
He probably was Killmonger.
He'd have been Killmonger. He'd have been Killmonger.
This shit became a Tupac Can Do It episode.
What can Tupac do for you?
My visual cannot unsee Pac's face on Black Panther's body. You fucked my head up right now.
I could see him being Killmonger.
He'd have been a better Killmonger, actually.
He'd have been a better Killmonger. It'd have been ridiculous.
That was fucking a good one, yo. Understand this, man. I think we got to put Pac in a place, a category in a space of you can't compare him anymore. It's just one of those things. It's fucking. You can't. You literally can't, man. It's too much music, too much talent, and he was only 25 fucking years old when he died. He can't be compared. We can't compare him to Biggie. We can't compare him to nobody. Nobody had that work ethic of a Tupac that made it to that level. Nobody is still running off of 25-year death and still being talked about in all conversation from new, young to old. You know, like, we got to retire Tupac name in all comparisons.
He made enough music to almost keep putting it out this long.
And this is without anybody even getting the real shit. Like, you still got, I did an interview with his best friend, Mouse Man, you know, it's still music that ain't been put out. Because nobody...
It's some former faculty members from Baltimore School of the Arts who got recordings he did when he went to high school in Baltimore. Like,
yep.
Like, so much material was created in such a small amount of time. Like, just that alone cements, like, legacy.
Right. That's all we need, man. T-Pain is a dumbass. And he's soft and, soft as Twinkie filling. For saying something like that. Disrespectful for disrespecting the great
Tupac would have did auto-tune better.
I mean, he kind of did earlier on when he was using a lot of the, you know, the Roger Troutman influences and stuff on California Love. Like, that's really
writing ability was up here. It was ridiculous. I mean, his use of melody, understanding how to create and have the R&B influence in the songs to make you really want to listen, and then the passion in his voice.
He did that shit with Suge Knight behind him. Can you imagine the fear being in the studio?
He didn't have a tremendous amount of heart. I mean, that's what it seemed like. People in Baltimore didn't think so, but
to still be able to create in that environment.
Is Tupac the Jordan of rap? I want to know.
No. Again,
so to do that, you have to be literally technically the best.
Both Jordan and the Jordan of rap have, again, the same haircut. Jordan of rap, William Griffin.
That's what Kareem Ali does. Some people will say Rakim is no longer the Jordan of rap. He's not a Dr. J of rap.
That's a different show.
Okay.
And some would say the Dr. J